Welcome to Distress to Joyful, Bailey's Way. I'm your host, Bailey Raber, here to enlighten you and the rest of the world about one of the most misunderstood mental disorders out there, bipolar disorder. Each week, we're going to learn more about my personal journey with the disorder while leaving you enriched with new information on how you can help better yourself as well as those around you. Hello, friends. So this week, I am just going to be speaking from the heart a little bit with you guys. Nothing has been bullet pointed. Nothing has been written out as an outline. I'm just going to speak directly from the heart because there's something that I've been really struggling with, and I know a lot of y'all out there have been struggling with the same. I know you have. I know it's not just me. One of the things that I've been really struggling with is dealing with stress. And that's a common issue with not just Americans, not just people, but I think more specifically for women. And I'm not being sexist here, so before you say anything about that, calm your ass down for just a second. But I recently read this book called Burnout, The Secret to Unlocking the Stress Cycle by Emily and Amelia Nagoski. I just butchered that. Sorry, Emily and Amelia. I'm just going to call y'all by y'all's first names. So it's written by these two twin sisters, right? And they talk about how it's not sexist, but just in general, women tend to carry a lot more burden and a lot more stress because for centuries, women have been designed and brought up and been made to be, quote, human givers. So we are supposed to give our time and our energy and our love and all of our resources to other people and not care about ourselves. Because if we care about ourselves, that's considered selfish. And God, y'all have got to read this book. I feel like every time I pick up a new book, it comes at the right time. And I use the library system, so a lot of times I have to wait on hold for a book. Like, I swear to God, I probably waited for this book for like 6 months. I don't remember when I put it on hold, but I know it was on hold for forever before I finally got the copy in my hands. And when I got it, I was literally in such a mess of stress and burnout. Damn, like perfect timing, right? So as I dug more into this book, one of the things that they really focus on and talk about is resting. And hello, that's why the title of this episode is called Rest When You're Stressed, because that's what I'm about to talk to y'all about. Holy shit. So I am not a person to rest. I'm not. I'm an Enneagram 8. If you've listened to my past, episodes and you've heard a little bit about the Enneagram through that, or if you just know about the Enneagram in general, an Enneagram 8 is I'm the boss, I'm in charge, and I'm a doer. I am such a fucking doer. And sometimes it's a bad thing. Sometimes my competitiveness causes me to keep going, even though I really need to slow down and just stop and just chill. And it's kind of like an Enneagram 3, the achievers. I hope somebody has an Enneagram 3 on here laughing right now because you can overachiever. It works the same. Anyways, so it's kind of the same where we just feel the need to just do and go and do and go and go and do. And sometimes it gets to be too much. And me personally, I am very high energy. I don't like sitting still. I don't like being quiet. Who'd have thought? I don't like just chilling for the most part. Like I need to have an agenda. I need to have something to do. But what happens when all you do is do? All you do is do to the point where you can't do anymore. And God, I have felt that. And that is why I took such a break from this podcast and from releasing episodes and from writing new blog post articles and from making new things like with my sewing. I just had to pause and take a break. And I think a lot of it, unfortunately, had to do with two things. So the first thing is, quote, making up for lost time. So raise your hand if you were unemployed at all during the pandemic. And when I mean the pandemic, I mean the 2020 quarantine that started in March 2020 that, is still, it's not going on anymore, but we're still kind of dealing with the effects of today. Yeah, raise your hand. Okay, my hand is raised. So I was unemployed for a while. And I wasn't actually unemployed because I had a job. I just couldn't start the job. And I wasn't bringing in income. And I didn't have anywhere to go. And I wasn't doing anything. So, granted, I picked up my hobbies. I filled up my time, sure. And I did things. But with me being as independent as I've been my entire adult life and most of my adolescence, for God's sakes, not having a source of income or not doing made me feel like I was not enough. So when I did start working and getting back into the workforce, I started doing a lot. And I used it as a making up for lost time, right? And I know we've all heard of that. We've all made up for lost time somehow in our lives, right? Whether it be with relationships, whether it be with work, with goals, whatever the case might be. And so me specifically, I think I started doing that with work because there was a period of time where I didn't work at all. And ever since I graduated high school, y'all, I worked 2 jobs for 6 years straight. And then I've always had a full-time job. So not having a job, not bringing in a steady income, I went a little overboard when I got back into it. I was working 2 jobs again for a while from the end of 2020 until part of 2021. And then I started another new job where I'm not working 2 jobs anymore, but I have a lot more responsibility. And not only am I going with my job, now we're getting to do things again. At least here in, Houston, Texas, I'm getting to go work out with my friends. I'm getting to travel a little bit more. I'm getting to see people and, have a fucking pool party for the 4th of July and go to the museum. And I'm getting to do things. So once again, I am making up for lost time, essentially, right? Like all these people I haven't seen in a year, like, holy shit, I can see you now. We're all vaccinated. Let's hang out. Boom, boom, boom. Weekends full. Weekdays are full. Everything is just full. But in reality, it doesn't work like that, guys. You can't keep going. You can't keep emptying from your cup until you fill your cup first. And I will be the first to admit that I am the worst about feeling. No, I am the worst about filling my own cup first. And it might be just from the mindset and from how I was raised as to why I think that I've got to keep going. I've got to keep doing. I've got to keep achieving. I've got to keep earning. I've got to keep giving. And so I don't step back and take time for me. And y'all, it got to the point, though, where I had filled my schedule and given too much of my time to other people to where I just maxed out, to where I said, I can't do another podcast episode right now. I can't make this dress, finish making this dress. Let's be real here, finish it. That's been sitting here in front of me for 3 weeks now because I just need to lay on the couch and numb my brain with some goddamn TV. And that's what I did for a couple weekends, weeknights when I got home from work, and it made me feel like such a bum. But I literally had no energy to do anything else. Anything else. Y'all, we can't be doing this to ourselves. Yeah, I said we. I'm including me in this because I've got to do better. I want all of y'all to do better. It sucks. It sucks when you burn yourself out, when you do too much, when you don't give yourself time to just stop and just enjoy the meal in front of you. I mean, one of the things that they really stress in the Burnout book is giving your mind a break. And giving your mind a break can be in a couple different ways. It can be sitting down and looking at your food and actually paying attention to your food. Now that one actually I thought was really weird, not gonna lie. I mean, who just sits there and like pays attention to their food? We've got cell phones, we got people, we got TV. Who needs to do that? We got books. Seriously though, like it's all in the practice of mindfulness, being aware of your current surroundings, stopping and enjoying the sounds of the birds on your daily walk and the water that's lapping around in the dirty creek that's to your left or whatever it might be. These things, which I was never raised to do. I was never raised to pay attention to my body, to pay attention to my surroundings, to pay attention. Well, okay, surroundings. I was taught to pay attention to my surroundings, but not in this effect, not in mindfulness. That was more of out of fear. Anyways, the point being is that I myself need to work on this. And I think everybody does. I mean, think about it. Like, how often are you touching your phone? How often are you picking up your phone to check your notifications, to check social media, to check your emails, to check your texts? When you're sitting at a red light and you're just sitting there listening to music and you pick up your phone out of habit. Or you're in line at the grocery store and instead of making small talk with the person behind you, I get it, guys. I get it. We're wearing masks still in some places and we're not being as social. But like, you can be social without getting close to people. So instead, like, but how many times do you just find yourself on your phone instead of talking to the cashier, instead of talking to the person next to you, instead of saying hello as you pass somebody by? I've been guilty of it too. I have. And I hate saying that. And I hate realizing that because I'm such an extrovert. But, I honestly think that technology is part of why so many of us are so stressed. We have so many signals coming our way, and we don't take enough time to just sit there and just to be still. So, what I want to challenge you with, and I'm challenging myself on this too. So don't think I'm excluding me. I'm part of this too. Because I'm also guilty as charged. But I want to challenge you to take some time during the week. And I know this can be hard, especially if we have a busy job, especially if we have kids. God, I don't know how y'all do it. Especially if you care for other people. I mean, I get it. It can be hard. But I challenge you to devoting 10 minutes a day. 10 minutes a day, just 10. Start out easy. 10 minutes a day of being mindful somehow. Of sitting outside on your porch, on your balcony, in your backyard, wherever it might be, and just listening to the sounds. The sounds of the rain, the sounds of the wind, sounds of the bugs, if you live in Texas, or other places that have bugs. I mean, just listen to the sounds. Or try what Emily and Amelia talk about in their Burnout book, which you should definitely read. Try paying attention to your meal. Try sitting there for 10 minutes while you're eating and paying attention to the different flavors or the textures or how it feels when you're eating hot soup and you can feel it from your mouth all the way down to your tummy because it like warms your whole body up. Yeah, that might sound weird. Whatever. We're just roll with it. But seriously, guys, just like paying attention to these little things, it gives your mind a break. And that's needed in order for us to keep going. Rest and play. That's something that Brené Brown talks about a lot, and I am a goddamn firm believer in that. In order for us to keep going and to keep doing and to not hit a point where we have maxed ourselves out, we have to take time to ourselves to rest and to play. And to rest doesn't just always mean to lay in bed and actually rest. And sleeping does not count as rest, by the way. Burnout, they literally tell you in the book, it does not count. So I'm vouching for them. I agree, it does not count. But give your mind time to rest. Meditation. That is something that I have played with just a little bit, and I need to get into more, and I think everybody should. I'm reading 10% Happier right now. Oh gosh, who's the author? I will Google that for you real fast. Dan Harris. Dan Harris is the author. But in this 10% Happier book, he starts talking about how meditation helped him to lower his stress. And guys, I've heard so many things about how meditation does that for people and how it keeps them calm and relaxed and in control of their emotions. And I think I'm at the point where I need to meditate and to practice mindfulness on a daily basis in order to not lose my shit. And it shouldn't get to that point, guys. It shouldn't. You shouldn't have to be close to losing your shit to decide to do something about it. And I know I'm guilty of this too, so don't feel like I'm picking on anybody here listening right now. But unfortunately, Americans, we tend to have this mindset of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? I know some of y'all have heard that. And part of that is why preventative health is not hugely practiced here in the States. And it's so sad. And honestly, I didn't even understand preventative health until 2018 when I started exercising regularly with Camp Gladiator, when I changed my diet and I was working at a chiropractic office where it's holistic, right? So it's all preventative. I mean, we just don't do that enough here. We wait until we lose our shit to do something about it. We wait until we have cancer to do something about our health. We wait until we have diabetes to change our diets. Hell, I waited until I had gained 60 plus pounds before I did something about it. So not only am I just wanting to challenge you with taking 10 minutes a day to yourself, to meditate, to be mindful, to practice mindfulness, that's what I meant. But I also encourage you to take some time to slow down, to live in the moment, and to figure out what it is that you need to do in order to relieve your stress. We all handle stress differently, but we all have some kind of stressors in our lives. We do. And it's a matter of how can we lower the impact of our stress before the stress overtakes us. I hope that made sense. It was meant to make sense. I will leave the link to this book I've been talking about, the Burnout book by Emily and Amelia Nagoski, I think is how they pronounce it, Nagoski. And also the 10% Happier book. I'm going to leave those links somewhere, probably on my Instagram. No show notes for today, just a heads up. but I encourage you to take a step back and to remember that it is okay to rest when you're stressed. Don't wait until the explosion comes through. Don't wait until you're burned out, exhausted, and overwhelmed. As soon as you start to feel stressed, do what you need to do to relieve it then and there. Find out what works for you. And don't wait until you're stressed to find out what works for you, by the way. I encourage you to start working on that now. What's going to help you relieve stress? So Emily and Amelia in their book speak about exercise being the number one thing, because I'm going to quote Elle Woods again from Legally Blonde, but exercise gives you endorphins. Endorphins make you happy, and happy people don't kill their husbands. They just don't. So if you're not a fan of exercise, they do have some other alternatives that they mention in their book. Again, you can go read that to find the answers. But I 100% encourage each and every one of you, when you're feeling stressed, work out. Go for a run. Go for a walk. Dance to music in your room. Do yoga. Do something, guys, because I will tell you from experience that exercise has definitely helped me in the past. It helps me in the present, and it will continue to help me in the future. But I will tell you that it doesn't always 100% work, which is why I'm telling you to figure out what it is that you need. Because sometimes when I'm super overwhelmed and I've gotten to be where I'm too stressed, going for a run just won't cut it. So then I need to go home and I need to sit down and I need to read a book. Or I need to listen to a podcast and just sit and chill and do that. Or do a little sewing or watch TV to numb my mind. But not like couch potato it and, watch for 5 days straight. But you know what I mean. So find what works for you and use it as soon as you realize you need it. Resting and doing things for you is not selfish. I want to remind you that in order to continue to give and do and help others, we have to fill our own cups first. Rest when you're stressed, but also remember it's okay to rest before you hit that breakdown point of stress, okay? You are worth it, you are valuable, and you deserve to fill your own cup first before having to fill the cups of others, okay? All right, so next episode, you can expect to learn about reckless driving and bipolar disorder. And I know I had originally mentioned that would be this episode here, but sometimes life gets in the way and you have to go with what works best, right? And I had this aching in my heart. I needed to talk to you guys about stress and everything since that's what I was dealing with. So we just took a little detour and now we're going to go back on path to what I had originally mentioned. So next episode, we're going to talk a little bit about my past and my reckless driving and the correlation that it has with my bipolar disorder, especially back at the time, my unmanaged bipolar disorder. So, until next time, take it easy, stay grateful, and be joyful. Bye!